What's up, everybody? My name is Nick. I'm going to show you my first hour with God of War, just released on PS4. Here we go. So I'm looking through the difficulties, and I'm thinking that because they changed certain aspects of the game, they made it a little more, over the shoulder than previous games. I figured I would go with just whatever the regular difficulty was. Didn't want to throw myself straight into too difficult of a challenge, and honestly I'm glad that I went with normal. So this is running on just a regular PS4, and as you can see, just the graphics are just amazing already, even without it being a PS4 Pro. I can't even imagine what it looks like on a PS4 Pro at 4K. I really like what they did with the design of Kratos. I mean, there are certain things about his beard that I'm not crazy about, but I love that they kept all of the scarring from the previous games. This is a sequel, and also almost like a starting over point for them. Just immediately they showcase that his strength is not faded. I do have to say too, the detail that they put into the nipples was a bit much. It's just a little much. It's just kind of crazy when you think about it. The amount of stuff that this character has been through and the things that he's done. And the range of his character. He starts out being just kind of driven to, be powerful and become the best servant to the God of War, and then he becomes the God of War at the end of that, and then he just, then he's just kind of full of himself, and then he kills the gods, and it's just, man, it's crazy stuff when you really take a step back and look at it. But then, him being able to pick up an entire tree with one arm, kind of a reminder that he is technically still a god or a demigod.
Still want me to tie it to the boat?
So I didn't really understand what the purpose of the tree was. Kind of oh, we chopped down this tree, and then we're just going to toss it in the water. And I was like, okay.
That is enough.
I like the voice acting. I'm really into the fact that it's the same actor for Kratos, but you can hear he's just so much more grizzled and so much more tired. The depth of his character really shines through in the performance he gives.
Father?
And even Atreus. Atreus's voice actor did a great job. Again, this is only the first hour of gameplay, but I was really impressed with his abilities and his range. That's me trying to be a slick guy, trying to do it smooth and all cinematic-like. So I'm like, okay, so tree for what? Why do we have this? Beast mode. I'm glad that they gave Kratos a little more clothing too. I feel like he was lacking a fair amount of clothes in some of the older games. I've played all of them. The only ones that I can't say that I've fully completed are the PSP entries. I think I've done Ghost of Sparta, but some of the other entries I don't even know how many there were. I didn't get a chance to play them. It was either the PSP that I had wasn't functioning properly, or I just wasn't interested.
That was the last.
And then, yeah, apparently the game is ready to install. I don't know. So this is their humble abode. And right here I'm thinking, like, in what world is it okay to tattoo kids? And then I remember this is like, you know, in the Norse mythological times. And then it makes just a little bit more sense.
There do I see my mother.
So they jump right into the
See
emotions.
my father.
Hit you right in the feels, right up front.
Oh, there do they call to me. Oh, there do they call to me.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, you can just hear in his voice, like, I don't know, I just hear the pain.
Oh, there do they call to me. Oh, there do they
It's not a stiff performance, if that makes sense. Like, some of the child voice actors have that stiff voice. That's such a cool shot.
She's ready.
I love that they treat this particular part with so much respect. You know, it's like they're not glazing over it. They're jumping right into some real, you know, human pain, and for a god,
Find your way.
you know.
You are free.
And it's interesting, too, to go back and think about the older entries. He had a wife and a daughter who he lost. Well, not he lost. He was driven in his insane rage to kill. Or whatever. But he's treating this situation with a lot more... I don't know if candor is the right word. He's just being a lot more delicate with this, a lot more thoughtful, and there's like a reserved emotionality to it. It's not really the direction I thought they were going to go with Kratos. I thought he was just going to like be rolling his eyes like, ugh, I got this kid to take care of now.
I'm sorry.
Squeeze.
And then you also realize like he's learning to be
It was hers.
a father or a mentor right now.
Now it is
It's
yours.
something that he's not really had to do in a long, long, long time. And even then, he had a daughter before,
Stortidant.
so he's trying to figure it out as he goes.
Now?
Now.
They don't really give too much of an explanation so far, at least in the first hour, as to what happened with the wife.
Which
Or
way?
his mother,
In
anyways.
the direction of deer.
Can't just assume
Okay.
that that's his wife.
this
Not like the sarcasm, like, in the direction of the deer. Like, fucking figure it out. You can't be a successful hunter by me telling you where to go.
Father, why are we doing this now?
I need to know you can survive the journey.
Then we leave for the mountain?
Depends on you. Hunt. What did you find?
Tracks. Not deer, though. I'll keep looking.
I thought this was kind of questionable, these random drops. I mean, it's great because it's that extra money, I guess, but like, it almost, for me, takes away some of the depth of this world. It becomes less of a set piece and more of like,
Let's go.
these are just unique places to hide chests and hide hack silver or whatever it's called. There you go. I'm looking around, I'm trying to figure out if there might be anything else in the area, any other directions I can go. So far, from what I can tell, it is very open.
More tracks?
There are a lot of paths that I could have
They're
taken
too
that I
round.
didn't take,
Could be a
because I was
wild
trying to stick with him.
Good.
Oh. Now what?
And it just makes it look all easy because, you know, he's a god. Of course, he can walk up to a
This
massive
way,
jump
boy.
like that. Just do it, no problem.
Oh. Wait, deer tracks. They're fresh.
I'm spending a lot of time looking for pickups. But that's the problem with those random pickups. It's like, it becomes a focus. Instead of focusing on the story, I'm focusing on making sure I'm picking up everything I possibly can.
Found it!
Slow down, boy.
Sorry.
You are hunting deer, not chasing it.
Yes, Father.
So it was nice to see them bring back the chests. I don't know what it is about opening those chests. It's always so satisfying. And now at least you don't have to mash the buttons to do so. And here's one of those pathways. Like, I could conceivably jump down there or try to jump for that chain and go up. But it's clearly not the path that I meant to take.
He broke our bridge. How are we gonna get across?
Step aside.
So I try to step around him.
Wow.
Go.
You know, want my axe back. Give it to me. That is one of the coolest things that I've seen in this game, in this first hour. The ability to recall your axe is amazing.
What are you doing? Now his guard is up. Only fire. Only fire. When I tell you to fire.
I'm sorry.
Do not be sorry. Be better. Find it. Find it.
You can really see, like, he's trying so hard to not be pissed off. Like, to not let his rage just get out of control. And I feel like they've kind of made some parallels now with this character and how he's handling things to Hulk.
You are not ready.
The Hulk Bruce Banner thing. So obviously, as this is, you know, a tutorial, I spend a little time just trying to get used to the feel of combat and the flow of things and how everything feels, so I get hit a few times unnecessarily. And it kind of continues throughout the hour, honestly. I need to commit the moves to memory. Not moves in the traditional sense of, like, button combinations and things like that, but particularly, like, feeling out the timing between the light attacks and the heavy attacks and blocking. Because you throw your axe by holding L2 and pressing R1, then having to block with L1 is... It took a minute to get used to, and by a minute I mean like half an hour. Probably a normal learning curve for most people, but still. And so here I'm trying to test out whether I can do deflections and parries and that type of thing. And boom. So, really happy that they added that into it, because that's that Dark Souls love coming through. I need to be able to parry. Excuse me. And it really does come in very, very handy. And obviously the combat roll, there isn't as much range as the Dark Souls games, so I'm going to need to really work on that. And that was an example of being able to recall the axe and still have it kill something while it's coming back to you, and that felt good.
They've never come this close to our woods before.
Keep moving.
I just wanted to see what their like little compendium or whatever was going to look like. So that was a possible path. That one I go to because it looks like a little breakable thing. So I figure I'll toss this, see what it's all about, and lo and behold, there's a chest. Or puzzle or something. So I come to investigate, it looks like a dead end, so it ends up panning out. And I'm like, oh ho 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 ho. Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Where's the other one? There it is. This is it. Open. I don't know, it's an apple or some shit. Here you go. I'm never gonna be able to. Oh, I done, I guess? I don't know. I didn't really read it. I just picked it up and went, oh, an apple, and it increases my health. Or after getting 3, it will increase my health. I don't know. I've only found 1 so far. I definitely love that everything, as far as the setting is concerned and the layout, everything feels deliberate. Nothing feels like it's just retextures moved up the road another quarter mile.
What we please, boy. No
Everything
excuses.
feels like it was intentional. Every piece of setting has a purpose. Just feels that way. I don't know. Maybe some of these are. I mean, most likely all of the stuff is retextures, but still. They do a great job of hiding it.
Can I have my bow back now?
Can you hit it from
Yeah,
here?
fucker.
We should
Wise.
get closer.
I would have taken the shot, but it's because I'm not a hunter.
I went hunting with Mother a bunch of times. She never wanted to take me. Why now?
It was her wish. And it was time.
Okay.
Still looking for pickups, chests. Calls the Draugr. I don't need the health just yet. And plus he called out the enemy, so why not? Take a little damage first. So there, I forgot how to block again. This fight didn't go particularly well for me just because they've introduced a lot more enemies at once now. And I'm still trying to work out which buttons do what. Now there I see that, okay, by deflecting one, everything in a short radius also gets stunned a little bit. So that was good. I really love throwing the axe. You guys are going to see a lot of that. I don't know, and there's just, at this point I'm thinking about how good it feels. The weight of all of the attacks feels amazing. The rumble in the controller when you hit, the timing of the hits, the sound, just everything about this combat feels right to me. And that was where I got sold on it too. The point where I realized that I was going to have to buy it was I was watching, I don't remember whose review it was, but I was watching somebody's review. Might have been Eric's Gaming. Or maybe not his review. I don't remember. I was watching somebody's YouTube video and they were talking about how much weight there is behind the attacks. And that was the moment for me where I was like, okay, well, that's what I need to do. So that was my problem with the older God of War games. While the combat was very much Devil May Cry style, it also led to everything feeling very light and very feathery and touchy. You know, now you feel a little more rooted in your spot. Like, even the dodge roll is not very far. There's not a huge distance to that. Blocking becomes more viable than dodging, at least for a bit. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So at this point I don't realize it, but my axe is still in that thing. And I'm like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Like, I thought maybe I could climb up the planks, recall the axe. Thank you for the tutorial. Nice. I feel like they, like, maybe modernized his dialogue a little too much. Maybe? I don't know. I'm not very far, but it feels a little weird to hear a character in this time saying, nice. I don't know, maybe that just makes him more relatable.
Look.
Wait for my mark. Relax. Do not think of it as an animal.
Kind of jumped the gun here. I didn't realize I was in control, and then I was like, oh, okay, here's the point where I'm like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to do a thing. And it feels pretty locked on, so I pressed square, but I didn't realize Kratos was going to keep running his mouth.
I got it.
Good.
It's still
I will
locked.
say that if I could get myself physically to be the size of Kratos, like, I would be so stoked.
Your knife.
Genetically, I don't think it's in the cards for me, but...
No. Finish what you started.
I really like some of the lessons that are being taught here, like the finish what you started thing. Maybe not in regards to hunting, but that whole, like, you need to commit, you know. You can't just do it and expect me to clean up your mess.
I can't.
As a dad, I appreciate that being something that's conveyed here. And you can just see the discomfort on Atreus' face, and it's not what he expected. And he's upset. There's just so much emotionality to this. Yeah. And just like in Last of Us, like he's gotta soften up. He's gonna make some changes. He's teaching the boy, but the boy is also gonna teach him. And I love that too. I love how Atreus just lunges at his hand. Goes for the stab. That was so awesome. We have our first big SOB.
No choice.
Gotta aim for the penis. I love how the dude's just waiting there, like, waiting for us to go ahead and finish reading. Like, alright, you're good, fam. So obviously, okay, big bright thing, I'm gonna aim for that, right? It's so hard to aim for that when he's moving as much as he is. So this is the classic Dark Souls thing. You back off a little bit, you watch the movements, you try to pick up on the movements and circumvent. And then this is what I was not expecting. I wasn't expecting it to have tracking. And I make that mistake a few times during this. But he's able to turn. So I'm jumping too early at this point. Something super satisfying also about lodging your axe into somebody's thigh like that. Just get fucked. So here's going for Atreus, so I'm thinking it's safe. Putting some good damage on him when you look at him as a boss. You know, feeling good about it. I thought that was cool. It bounced off and lodged in something nearby. But then in the end of it, you know, you kind of have to realize too it's a video game and there's only so many things that they can program into this. So like his moves, the enemy's moves are very set. Like there's just a handful of things that he does. So I'm trying to utilize Atreus' shooting, but it doesn't feel as impactful. Like there's a disconnect between what he's doing and what I'm doing. Which doesn't always feel like that, but in this particular fight, it was hard for me to do and feel impactful. Getting some decent hits on those spots. Again, I don't even know if those are weak points. You know, you just... Video games, right? You assume those are weak points. I get bonus points if I pop one of those things or whatever. Here we go. Still messed it up. That's the first time I noticed he did that. Smacked in the face a little bit, and that was the only health thing that I already picked up, so I needed to, like, play a little more conservatively, be a little more careful. Like the Dark Souls thing, right? Again, I'm being too greedy. I need to just meet out whatever I can and then get ready to evade. Thankfully, I don't know if it's like this, it's different on other difficulties, but there's no stamina bar that I can tell that manages when I can attack or when I can roll. If I run out, do I get slowed down? I did notice in a later fight that depending on when I block or if my guard gets broken, that I will stagger. I don't know if that's just for that fight, if that's something that's only for stronger enemies, or if it's just a gameplay mechanic in general, like if I guard at the wrong time. So, classic God of War brutality. Love it.
That's what you get!
Boy,
Think I'm afraid of you! You're nothing to me!
boy, look at me. Look at me, boy. Boy, look at me.
So if Kratos is a god, then Atreus is a demigod, right? Or something? A semi-god? I don't know. The amount of blood, though.
I found the deer.
And the fact that they animated all those slash marks, I don't know, it just becomes that much more believable.
Going home.
I haven't been sick in a long time. I can do this.
You are not
I
ready.
assume that the sick is some sort of a rage, a Kratos-like rage. So obviously, this boss or mini-boss melts away, I see a green light, and I'm like, oh heck yeah. Pickups. Check this guy out. Now, I didn't notice any of the bodies earlier. There were bodies on the way to this location. I didn't see them. So that was the first body that I really noticed, and I was like, well, what is this guy doing out here? When in reality, all these people have already been wiped out. And super agile Catwoman Atreus. Way to go, kiddo. More dead bodies. Pulls out his bow, takes a knee. Gotta be a hint. So this is a neat little mechanic. I didn't realize it, but their bar fills up as you do certain types of attacks, and it makes them stun, and then you can come up and basically do a... not a quick time event, but just a button press that will do huge damage, or instantly kill them or something? I don't know. So, still trying to just get a feel for things. Introduce new mechanics, give me some time to figure it out and learn it. And pick up the pickups. Forgot how to block, again. This is just, it's so satisfying. Combat in this game feels really great. So, unarmed attacks and any bow attacks, that'll increase that meter faster. And I'm like, okay, so this looks like my axe. Nope. Falls on the ground. Love it. Wait a minute. Did I... I'm wondering if I picked that up.
Still can't get the doors open, huh?
Quiet.
No, I had to have. I see it right there, plain as day. There's no way I didn't pick that up. Come on. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it... Hell yeah. See what I'm saying? Next level. A little more practice. So trying to build up that meter quickly before I get into combat. Fiery kind of enemy thing. I don't even know when it is that he died. Oh, because he stopped being on fire at a certain point, I guess. That triple stagger. Another example of recalling it in the middle of combat, working out. I also really enjoy there's a wind up. Forgot how to block. Was not anticipating him standing up there. I forgot what I was saying.
What is that thing?
Oh, so satisfying. And I love that that was a different animation too. Like, they didn't have to program a different animation, but they did. And it was great. I can't wait till I can see another one of those guys. That unfortunately in the first hour I think he might be the only one that you fight. Before long, shit's gonna get real. Right now it seems like your typical, like, okay, well, this is a tutorial, you know. Feels like kind of like a guided tour, and you come to expect that in games nowadays, especially story-driven games.
I do not know.
And that's all good and fine, but God of War has always been a game or a franchise that kind of likes to throw you right into it. There's not a lot of build-up. Like, there's a good amount of build-up in this game just because they're setting up the narrative for it, but it doesn't take long to get into the real shit. And so at this point I'm thinking the guy I already killed with the horns was the real shit. But it gets it gets a little more intense than that. Checking in on Yo Mama. All we are is dust in the wind. Or in a bag, get that token nipple shot. Yowza. So I want gains like Kratos. I want to be able to get them traps and all my delts. I'll never have abs that look like that. Like I said, genetically it's not in the cards because his abs look more like sausages or like Twinkies. And I think most abs generally look more like sliders from White Castle. I'll be honest, I haven't eaten in a couple hours. So, you know, food is a strong theme in my brain right now. I like that they keep the dark environments nice and dark and the light environments really light. The way that they handle shadow and lighting in this is just extremely, extremely visually pleasing.
You lost control.
He's like, you're basically being basic. You need to stop it.
Anger can be a weapon.
He's got that serratus on the side.
Use it. You
big ass triceps.
When you I haven't been sick in a long time. I'm better now.
Fine. Come on then.
You want me to hit you?
I want you to try.
Stop trying to hit me and hit me. Sound familiar?
Ow! What are you?
Come on, Neo, you're the one.
Why are you doing that?
Too slow. Try again.
Cut it out!
Weak. Again. Again.
Stop it!
Again!
That arm grab. So real.
You can get lost in it. The path ahead is difficult. And you, Atreus, are clearly not ready.
What was that?
Quiet.
Come on out.
The sound is so good.
There's no use hiding anymore. I know who you are.
What's going on? Do you know him?
This dude's drunk.
More importantly, I know what you are.
Boy, beneath the
Like,
floor.
I've been stabbed by Zeus, and then I killed Zeus, and you really think
No.
that you can stop me? Idiotic mortal coming banging on my
Tell me
door.
what I want to know. No need for this to get
You don't know who
bloody.
you're talking to, boy. It's a little tweaker, dude, right? Should be fine. This is gonna be totally fine.
I thought you'd be bigger.
That's what she said.
You're definitely the one.
Also what she said.
Long way from home, aren't you?
What do you want?
Oh, you already know the answer to that.
Whatever it is you seek.
This guy is so good.
You should move on.
And here I thought your kind was supposed to be so enlightened, so much better than us, so much smarter. And yet you hide out here in the woods like a coward.
You do not want this fight.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I do.
Sucker punch.
Leave my home.
You are going to have to kill me for that to happen.
So good. And just, that was a very typical, that was a thing that really bothered me. The catch of the hand, the twist outwards.
You would not listen.
Didn't make any sense to me why they would choose to do that.
Fine. My turn.
And you're like, God damn! I love how cinematic this whole thing is. It's just so good.
How incredibly disappointing. Come on, then.
So now at this point it becomes clear, okay, I'm fighting something that maybe I'm supposed to lose to. I'm gonna give it my best, but like that tiny little sliver of damage that I did, and then when I start taking damage, it's a bit more, like just that one thing already is more than I've done to him. So it becomes evident, okay, if I'm gonna stand a chance, I need to really start parrying, I need to be better about blocking and dodging, and I need to learn his moves. They do a good job of making him very Loki-esque in his like taunting and mind games and stuff. And of course, what video game is complete without tracking attacks from enemies and teleportation? And the shattering of the trees is so cool. Yeah, get you some. So I'd like to take a moment to thank all of the Dark Soulses and the Bloodborns of my life, even the Lords of the Fallen or whatever game that was. Reaction times, my reflexes are better and things like this. Yeah, the only problem is I don't know if I missed it. I don't know how to lock on. It seems like it mostly locks on its own. But when he teleports out of frame, it's very difficult to keep an eye on him and appropriately block or time a parry. He's feeling me up. Rubbing on my boobs. And again, the weight of combat feels so good.
Why are there two beds in
And the instant reversal and then re-reversal, and I'm like, what? Oh, okay, I'm supposed to do a thing. So I start just wailing on him with my finger hovering over the counter button. But the counter never comes. I just bashed his face in. Suplex. It's just... the sequence is so well choreographed and so well directed.
Struck a nerve, did I?
So... here, I'm expecting to have to time something. He just dances around for a while like Michael Flatley. So I'm like, alright, take a tree.
Who are you hiding? Slow and old. You should never have come to Midgard.
The boss fights in the old God of War games were always pretty satisfying. They were always relatively powerful feeling, but like this game just takes it those 3 extra notches up. It really starts to feel like Matrix Reloaded.
Maybe whoever it is you
The second Matrix movie. I think it was Reloaded. So that was a little bit something that I was expecting, having played God of War before, just knowing that there is a God Rage mode or whatever it's called, Spartan Rage. And if I'm stuck in a bunch of rocks, then, you know, of course. So every time that I think I've got this guy pegged, he finds a way to get out of it, self-heals, and then starts kicking my ass again. I seem to be self-healing too. So that's me trying the heavy attack, R2 attack. Giving him the Superman. Wailing on his face and chest.
What are you hiding?
Giving him the Titan Smash from Destiny. Fists of Havoc or something. There's an example where I blocked too early and it caused me to stagger instead of him. But he never capitalizes on it. He just kind of stands there and waits for me to recover. I don't expect that that's going to continue to be like that throughout the game. But there are going to be some enemies that instantly capitalize on it. He didn't, and I'm thankful for it. I also felt kind of like a badass every time that I timed the block correctly or the dodge roll out of his shockwave attack. Always felt really good, even those last second ones. I can't say enough good things about this game though. In the 1 hour that I played, I'm like hooked. I'm going to be going on vacation at the end of next week, and I'm just thinking about the fact that I'm not going to be able to bring the PS4. There's another one where I got staggered, and here, again, this time's going better. I haven't taken nearly as much damage, and he's almost down. For being a little stringy guy, he's taking a ton of damage. Now, I don't understand. He says things that make you think that he doesn't feel pain or doesn't whatever, but like he's pretty dazed. For him to go on the ground like that, for me to have enough time to break that and slam it on him, yeah, he was dazed. So I'm thinking, okay, pool of blood, just double check, make sure I've got all the bases covered. He's gotta be dead. He's under there somewhere, he's gotta be dead. Like, alright, job well done. Hobble my way back to my home. Still not quite believing that he's dead, but whatever. He's got to be dead. I beat the life out of him. Nope. Of course.
When Odin sent me here, I just needed answers, but you had to act all proud. Throw whatever you have at me. I'll keep coming. That old body will give out. But before I end this, I want you to know one thing. I can't feel any of this.
Like, again, if you can't feel it, then why do you seem like you're recoiling from everything that I'm doing? Why does it seem like you're struggling?
seen it with your own eyes. You can't hurt me. Nothing can. This fight is pointless. Your struggle is pointless.
Hard to climb up rocks when you're covered in slippery blood.
Pathetic.
Like, no shit he was gonna be there.
You can't win. I feel nothing. But you feel everything, yet you keep trying. I'm not my brother. And if you'd given me what I wanted, it wouldn't have ended this way. But no. Let's finish this.
Alright, so in this phase he changes some things up and starts doing some damage again. Just when I thought I had him figured out, he starts doing this Hulk smash thing. I can reasonably get 2, maybe 3 hits in before he's doing some of these little fast juke moves. I feel like it would be really satisfying to throw an axe and have it hit him while he's jumping or when he's about to land or something. Really hard to do though, he's a very small target. But I keep trying. So at this point there's not really much I can say about the fight. This is pretty much what you see is what you get. He adds in those new moves, so you have to learn them on the fly. And still the same thing of blocking at the right time. That felt really good. I completely lost track of him at that point. Here we go, back to the wrestling moves. Loving it.
I'd hoped that you, of everyone I'd faced, would finally make me feel something, but you can't.
So I sit here for a second because I don't realize that button prompt shows up. And now you feel nothing because you're super dead. Later. You could just feel his exhaustion though, like you feel the muscle strain. You feel the aches and the soreness. The bruising, the internal bleeding that's probably happening right now. So at this point I'm sitting there wondering about that little Omega sign on his back, that little clip that's been hanging off this whole time. And I'm like, what even is this? Like, why is that there? Kind of bugged me in some of the pre-release stuff because I hadn't really noticed it until those points.
Our son is not ready to carry your ashes to the top of the mountain.
And that health bar goes up. Battle damage goes away. Stands up straight. And snap. Right there. There's your answer. Didn't even have to Google anything.
I do not know how to do this without you. We cannot stay here.
I'm glad that they kept that part of the design with him, even though they changed it slightly, changing it from chains to wraps. But he's still got his forearms covered. I feel like that helps with the amount of weight that he's supposed to have to
There
him.
was so much. I thought. You're all right.
I am all right. Come.
And then, like, you just fought with somebody who's basically a god, and you strained to pick up this ostensibly, you know, 10 to 12-year-old boy. Like it was so difficult to do.
No choice now.
Like, why are you bothering covering that? We're leaving.
Prove me wrong.
Yes, sir.
So now we start the next leg of our journey together.
The mountain.
Beautiful game. Alright. Well, that's going to be the end of our first hour, you know, just short of a first hour with God of War. Just came out today on April 20th. Well, it's actually the 19th in the evening, but hey, it is what it is. So, yep, that's going to do it. So, if you like the video, leave a like, give me a comment, let me know what you think. Let me know if you're going to buy the game. Subscribe if you haven't, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching and hanging out. Later.
Yeah.